Stay tuned after this week's episode to hear a very special rendition of My Better Self by Tennis, a song that I do not own the rights to, covered by your friendly Gayborhood host. Two years ago, I lay in my bedroom closet with the microphone of my Apple earbuds held close to my lips, but not close enough for my beard to scratch it. My neck craned uncomfortably against an unused corkboard. I did 3 different hour-long recordings until I felt I had said what I needed to say, which was, I'm queer, I'm Southern, I'm visible, and I want to platform other queer Southerners so they can tell their stories too. But we'll keep it fun. I'm not the same person I was in that cramped little closet. In 3 seasons, I've gone from a closet in a house in the middle of nowhere to a lovely bedroom in a 3rd-floor apartment in my state's largest city. I've gone from morbidly obese to skinny to, pretty overweight again. I started this podcast as a self-identified witch, deep into spiritual culture and magic. Now by season 4, I don't really know what I believe anymore. I've been through the highest highs and the lowest lows, plagued by unrealistic expectations and self-doubt. But y'all, I'm back. Hello, it's me, your friendly Gayborhood host, Jacob, and welcome back to Out in the Woods, Season 4, Episode 1. Damn. Here we are, back at it again. I didn't know 7 months ago that it would take me 7 months to produce another episode, but here we are. And y'all, like the deadbeat podcast daddy that I am, I'm gonna explain everything. But first of all, I'd like to say thanks for everybody's love and support over these past 7 months. Different people ask me, when you coming back? When you gonna do this? And honestly, y'all, I really didn't know if I was gonna do it again. Not because I don't love y'all and I don't love this work, but because I just felt so burnt out. Not only with Out in the Woods, but with life in general. As I'm sure you remember in my last episode of Season 3, LGBTQI update, I told you, don't worry about your friendly Gayborhood host, y'all. I'm fine. Y'all, I really wasn't fine, to be quite honest. And I think that at the time I believed that I was fine, but I could hear in my voice, I could hear the exhaustion. And thinking back on that time, yeah, I wasn't fine. I had recently ended a relationship. It wasn't a long relationship, and honestly, I was happier that it ended, but that still takes an emotional toll. I had just picked up a second job on top of the first job that I was completely burnt out on, bitter about, really and truly just felt disgusted by, and that's the life of capitalism, though, and we can get into that later. But I'm much better now. And I will say, just like at the in the middle of last episode, I talked about prioritizing your own mental health and your own free time, and that's kind of what I did. Now, of course, as some of you may know, I did end up producing Grinder Tales with my friend Justin at the time. We got 10 episodes in, and the main reason that I was able to produce that podcast and not this one was because of the availability of a co-host that was right there, right down the street. I could call at any point and make it happen and make it work, and work it did. So I'm sorry, Mindbook didn't pan out. I still want to do Enter the Mind Book 3 because I really love it. I'm really impressed by it, and I really think that once I can get all of these fantastic actors that I've selected together to make this recording happen, that I think you all will thoroughly enjoy it as well. Um, I I did almost finish that pilot for that audio drama about uh, basically the abortion clinic Antichrist. And I should have finished it and started producing it sooner because, well, as we all know now, Roe v. Wade got overturned, and, that was kind of unexpected, but also expected. Remember, y'all, our rights, I mean, such a thin barrier, such a thin barrier between us and our rights. And remember that day whenever anybody tells you that you're being dramatic about potential public officials being elected because so many people said, oh no, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Well, they did it. Anyway, tangent over. Yeah, we're back for season 4 to keep you guys updated on what's happened in the past 7 months. As I mentioned, I was on the Capital City Pride Committee, and I actually just finished Pride yesterday. We had a great, incredible weekend. I could not be happier with how everything turned out. So much love, so much visibility, so much equity, inclusion, accountability, advocacy, all of those really beautiful buzzwords that are normally buzzwords. This time it's not like an advertising thing. This time it's actually like something real. And that is something beyond my wildest dreams, especially getting to MC that final day, introduce fucking Silky Nutmeg Ganache to the stage, introduce Big Frida to the stage, take a very begrudging selfie with Big Frida, signing the AIDS memorial quilts, reading out my great aunt that I never met who died of AIDS, reading out her name for the public to hear, seeing a huge crowd of people just all coming together for one love, one support, one mission. It was something. It really was. And suffice it to say, I mean, I had a great team with me, or rather, let me rephrase that. I was a part of a great team. I was just another moving part in the larger machine that was the Capital City Pride Committee. And despite the fact that there was a lot of controversy there for the the span of 2 weeks that was squashed immediately, I think that we made something happen a second year in a row. I was not part of it that first year, but I was in attendance, and I can say that if this trend continues, then we are going to definitely be in the history books for the amount of change and the amount of advocacy that we're bringing to the state of Mississippi. And also, let me not forget to say that, like, getting to share a microphone with Robin Johnston McGeehee from the episode in season 3, Break the Hate, the incredible LGBT rights advocate, protester extraordinaire, who chained herself to the White House demanding marriage equality, adoption, equity, all of that for LGBT people, and was arrested. I mean, she's just absolutely electric. She could get anybody to do anything. If someone says, well, would you jump off a bridge? If your friends did it, you can say, well, Robin is one of my friends, and she got on a megaphone, and she made jumping off this bridge sound like the right thing to do for my rights and my equity, so yes, I'm going to jump off this bridge right the fuck now. So, that was really incredible. Now, to talk a little bit about Grinder Tales, because I feel like a lot of people are wondering, especially some of my frequent listeners here have also ventured over to Grinder Tales to figure it out. Let me tell you, Grinder Tales blew the fuck up. Grinder Tales, in only 10 episodes, got bigger and bigger than Out in the Woods has done in 4 seasons. And I think part of that is because, I don't necessarily think... I mean, I think it plays right into what I believe about the Southern queer experience, which is minorities in general in the South, not just queer people, are the most overlooked and underserved because of our geopolitical location in the United States. So a lot of people see a red state, all they think about is the white male and female, because we got Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert up there too. All they think about is these crazy fundamentalist, conservative, right-wing politicians that are ruling over these states and want to change the landscape of the United States forever. And, you know, that is true. That's absolutely what they want to do. A lot of people are completely overlooking the minorities in these states. So when you have something like Out in the Woods that is specifically about those minorities, I don't think people immediately are interested to hop on that and figure out what that's all about. But let me be a little bit of a Twitter warrior right here and say shame on a lot of these people because, once again, have the highest population. For instance, in Mississippi, per capita, you have the highest population of African Americans in Mississippi. So whenever you just disregard places like Mississippi, you're also disregarding whole swaths of people that desperately need your help. So there's that. Jot that down. But nonetheless, I also think that Grindr Tales was more popular because, well, everybody wants to know the sexy tea. Everybody wants to hear something dirty, something slinky, something slutty. And Grindr Tales kind of delivered that, I think. I think people like dirtiness, and that's fine. Because you know what? I like dirtiness too. Which reminds me, this season I really, 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 really want to have another Out in the Woods After Dark episode because I've denied you thirsty bitches for 2 whole seasons. I will not deny you again. I promise. I promise. But anyway, you know, I think people like a combination of dirty stories and also dating app blunders. I think dating app blunders are universally entertaining, at least in my opinion. And yeah, that's where Grindr Tales is at. Now, I'm focusing on Out in the Woods right now because I'm still figuring out how to navigate Grindr Tales, mainly because when I started Grindr Tales, I did not realize that I was starting it with a not-so-friendly Gayborhood co-host. I really liked this person when I met them back in December. I saw that they didn't have a lot of friends and that they, you know, could probably use some guidance and some love and, you know, some friendship. And as time went on, I kind of realized why they didn't have any of that when I first met them. Definitely a narcissist, definitely incredibly egotistical and mean and pathological. It was just a lot. And when I started Grindr Tales, I really once again wanted it to be our space to lambast and thumb our noses at creeps on the internet and on dating apps everywhere. I thought that was universal. I thought that would be fun. And it's okay. It's okay to make fun of people for stepping outside their bounds and not respecting your boundaries, especially when it comes to sexual stuff like that, because consent matters. But with him, it kind of turned into more of a space for him to just make fun of people that he thought were ugly, that would just, you know, send him high on Grindr. And you know what? That's a big enough problem in the gay community right now, with superficial, egotistical kinds of treatment of other people. It's really awful. I'm not here for body shaming. Body shame not, lest ye be body shamed. I believe that all bodies are worthy of love and acceptance and beauty. Kink shaming, you know, I won't kink shame, but I will kink ask why. Either way, his true colors just started leaking through, and I got a lot of people complaining that my co-host seemed really mean-spirited and awful. And that, you know, because I was kind of there with him, just kind of in the same room. I was complicit, which I can't deny. I kind of was. So, fuck him. I'm ditching him, and I'm gonna take over Grinder Tales, and see what I can do with all of that. It just offers more opportunity for guests to come on, because the great thing about Grinder Tales is this is universal. Anyone from all around the world can come in and tell a horrific dating app blunder. So that's that on that. Once again, I'm living up here in Jackson, and my roommate, who I love, added a third roommate, his boyfriend, who I also love, and I really could not ask for a better living situation. It's been really great to have my own safe, comfortable space here, my own refuge from the world. But I've been on mental highs and lows. Once again, I said like last time, I said I was fine, but I really wasn't fine. And in 3 seasons, I've been at my best and I've been at my worst. And right now I'm feeling really good again. I'm delving a lot into stuff in therapy, especially pertaining to my weight right now. That's really revealing a lot of trauma that I didn't know that I was carrying. But I mean, goddamn, if that's not therapy in a nutshell. So that's really fantastic. I have a really fulfilling job now. One singular job. That's really great. I dropped one job, and then the other job closed. And I just so happen to be working at this place, and they promoted me to a full-time management position. And now, if all goes well, I'll probably be taking over as a bar manager, which means I'll get to put my own recipes on the menu, which is really fantastic. I've been having a lot of fun playing Potions Master behind the bar. I most recently came up with a really fantastic simple syrup that you guys, if you're listening, can make at home. It's good for cocktails, especially dessert cocktails. It's also probably really good for coffee. It's a fall spice simple syrup made with brown sugar, cinnamon sticks, cloves, and a bit of nutmeg. Now, just remember, a little cloves go a long way. But you put some boiling water in that, let it sit, and you got yourself a delicious simple syrup that you can add to pretty much anything. I'm using it specifically to make an alcoholic version of a pumpkin spice latte that I call the Basic, and I hope that if any of you stop by Barrel House in the near future, you will be able to try the Basic. So there we go. I know I've been kind of all over the place this episode. My therapist said something really, really impactful today that really sat with me, that kind of encapsulates everything that has led to me finally deciding to jump back into Out in the Woods, which is the most vulnerable of all emotions is joy. Because with your joy, you don't know what anybody else's reaction is going to be. You don't know anything. There's the uncertainty, but joy is vulnerable because you can feel it, and, it's completely free of judgment because of all of the happiness and joy associated with it. So, as I said at the beginning of the episode, stay tuned. I have covered a song by one of my favorite bands, Tennis. They're a husband and wife duo from Denver, Colorado. They're really fantastic. A lot of their music and lyrics really resonate with me. And specifically, this song, My Better Self, is something that kind of harkens back to joy being the most vulnerable emotion, because it's all about just making the decision to jump in and do it. If I don't use words, then each sound goes unheard. Meaning comes and goes. And that's okay. I had to decide that whatever meaning I had when I started this 3 years ago, whatever meaning I had for season 2, whatever meaning I had for season 3, you know, even as somewhat of a public figure, as a D-list public figure, if we're being honest, or even a Z-list, you know, there were a lot of times where I felt like I had to be consistent and I had to be full of explanations for everything that I did or didn't do for the sake of keeping my podcast going. But at the end of the day, I'm not worried about a numbers game anymore. I'm just worried about my why for doing this whole thing, which is exactly what I've said before. It's all about giving visibility to queer people down here in the middle of the Bible Belt. And that's enough for me. That is enough to bring me joy. And I feel a lot of joy now being vulnerable with you guys and showing you my cover of my better self. So we're about to hop into it. Just know that I'm glad that I'm coming back, and I realize that, you know, at the end of the day, no matter how consistent I am or no matter how many episodes I put out, as long as I just keep doing it because I can, then that's really where I'm going to find my peace. So welcome back. Thanks for staying on this journey with me. Let's start season 4 off right. And thanks for coming out in the woods and into my closet.
My better self still knows that meaning comes and goes. What is innate? I do not know, but meaning comes and it goes. Each and every attempt, a bit of substance spent. Despite the effort I have lent, you seem to lose what I meant. If I don't use words, then each sound goes unheard, utterly senseless without nouns and verbs. But symbols suggest they have been to possess a purpose and function that cannot be met. Those who create it know there is an ebb and flow. Only the value given shows that meaning comes and it goes. My better self still knows that meaning comes and goes. What is innate? I do not know, but meaning comes and it goes. If I don't use words, then each sound goes unheard, utterly senseless without nouns and verbs. But symbols suggest they have been to possess a purpose and function that cannot be met. If I don't use words, then each sound goes unheard, utterly senseless without nouns and verbs. But symbols suggest they have been to possess a purpose and function that cannot be met.
Thanks for tuning in to yet another episode of Out in the Woods. If you'd like to keep up to date with the show or see more of what I'm up to when I'm not behind the mic, check out my socials at ONTW Podcast on Instagram, Out in the Woods on Facebook, or if you're looking for the opportunity to engage and share your own stuff with the wider LGBT community, you can join the Out in the Woods LGBT Crossroads and Connections Facebook group. Want to see me be a gamer? Follow ONTW_podcast on Twitch. If you get past the homophobic algorithm, you can find me on YouTube at Out in the Woods Podcast. And last but not least, if you'd like to shoot me an email about being a guest, questions, or just because you love the show, send it to ontwpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, rate, review, and subscribe. As always, thanks for coming out in the woods and into my closet.